Before we really delve deep into this scene analysis, it is vital to note the backstory. Spock has just volunteered Kirk and his ship to escort the Klingon Chancellor into Federation space. This is to create a new peace between the two governments, and it will probably mean the dismantling of the entire Starfleet military divisions. Kirk, having lost his sons to the Klingons and fighting them almost his entire life, is angry he has been volunteered to do this, and now we have our confrontation. Let's get into it.
I don't know whether to congratulate you or not, Janet.
I wouldn't. We volunteered.
So this sets up, to a degree, the confrontation we are going to have. You have a mid-close-up shot of Kirk, distinctly on him and him alone. Instinctively, we know that this means he will be facing down Spock. They're not together on the point of view. Now, to be clear, a large part of this is also the actor as well. As we'll see in the future, the context of the actor really does frame the camera language, but the message is still clear.
We volunteered.
There's an old Vulcan proverb. Only Nixon could go to China.
How could you vouch for me?
This is a wonderful shot and extremely well done. I love that it's repeated throughout this scene. The desk and lighting conveys how much of a divide exists between Kirk and Spock. First, they are physically apart from each other. While it would make more sense in real life for Kirk to walk around the desks and up to Spock, and indeed I think he would do that if we were dealing with a real life situation, here, he doesn't, and this is so the camera language can tell us very subtly that they are distant from each other ideologically. Additionally, look at the lighting on Spock versus the shadow on Kirk. This conveys that they completely disagree on the topic as the light shines on Spock and the shadow is cast over Kirk. It could also be a way of telling us that Kirk is in the wrong, as generally darkness and shadow are used to portray a negative.
How could you vouch for me? That's arrogant presumption.
My father requested that I open negotiations.
I know your father's the Vulcan ambassador, for heaven's sake.
But you know how I feel about this. They're animals, Jim.
There is an historic opportunity here.
I want you guys to focus here because the camera work is phenomenal. We are about to see a ramping up of tension without either of them moving. It is going to seem like they are getting in each other's face as it goes from a wide shot to mid close-up, arguably close-up shot. This is done nearly with every sentence showing the heatedness between the two as Kirk gets angrier and angrier.
There is an historic opportunity here.
Don't believe them. Don't trust them.
They are dying.
Let them die. Has it occurred to you?
And now, the camera pulls back to a mid-wide shot and Kirk is a lot more calm. He's backed off according to the camera. Using the camera language and looking from its point of view, Kirk got right in Spock's face, saying, "How dare you?" And then he realized who he was and what he was saying, and he took a step back. While this didn't happen in the actual scene, the way the camera framed it makes it feel like it did. Again, both actors did an amazing job showing this on their faces, but I think when you add the camera to it, it just makes it just excellent.
That this crew is due to stand down in 3 months? We've done our bit for king and country.
Well, I do think that at the end of the day, this is just a framing device, and the requirement by anything Trek to have a shot reverse shot. It does nicely show that even though Kirk has calmed down and is trying to be more rational about this, there's still a divide between the two. Again, it's probably not camera language and more just because that's the way it's done, but it's nice nonetheless.
You should have trusted me.
Watch the camera here. We have a close-up on Kirk who is apologetic and a close-up on Spock who's still a bit confused, but at least less defensive. It's the same shot we saw before, but now with a different context. All of this is done without either of them moving, and yet we get the point. Kudos to the actors as well. And this entire scene ends with them still friends, but far, far apart. This, my dearest audience, is great camera language. Also, is it just me, or is Star Trek Picard basically the same starting plotline, except it's not the Klingons, and the ticking time bomb trope is shorter than 50 years?